Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kiki and Kibitz. It's me, Mary, and I'm here today with my 90-day fiance the other way, season 7, episode 8 recap. Forsa! Honestly, you guys, if I was going to give this episode a grade, I would give it a D for dry, and this whole season, a D for dry because honestly, in my opinion, even though they don't have much of a storyline, Jenny and Submit are the only entertainment value of this season. The rest of these couples, I'm sorry, D for dry. So let's hop right into it. First, we start off with Manon and Anthony, and Anthony is still torturing the French language. Okay. The chick in the bakery is looking at him like, what in the actual fuck? He's going to order four of everything right now because he only knows how to say four out of all the numbers. So, yeah, he's still torturing the French language, but he's going to find a job, you guys. Okay. He's going to find a job and they're going to have financial stability from his job. And that's why they moved to France to begin with. So Manon could stay at home, with baby Ben, which is a great thing. But, Anthony is torturing the fuck out of the French language. Yeah. Okay. So they're go off into the park where they are talking about baby Ben's baptism, which is happening the next day. Now, the thing of it is even though Anthony is going along with this, Anthony's not Catholic. He doesn't believe in, the Catholic Church or anything like that, but he's going along with it for Manon. Um, Manon invited her whole family and she is in shock that everybody decided to RSVP. So that's like a whole nother like layer of stress for her because there's going to be people at this baptism that don't get along, that probably haven't seen each other in forever. So on top of everything else, that's another layer of stress. Okay. And I get throwing events, when the kids are little, the baptisms, the communion, the confirmation, the birthday parties, especially when there's family members involved that don't necessarily get along with each other. That's just another layer of stress on top of the party planning. So it's baby Ben's baptism, and Manon pulled it off. She got her whole family and extended family together, including her sister, who she hasn't spoken to in years. Her sister's relationship is really complicated, so she decided that she was going to make her sister the godmother. So everyone's there at the table, drinking, getting along. She's so happy that she managed to pull this off, right, you guys? And, she starts drinking her mojito. And the mojito's a little strong. And I bet you she hadn't had much to eat that day because I remember when my son was little and we had these events, you don't really eat until you get to the dinner. So the mojito, hit her a little strong and she started getting a little, flirty with her husband with the sexual innuendos about his sausage. TMI. She hasn't tasted his sausage for over a year. Okay. I'm like, And he's like, we're sitting across from your parents. And she's like, my parents don't understand English. Don't worry. And he's like, your sister does. And she's sitting right there. And she's like, don't worry. She doesn't hear anything. I'm cracking up. I'm like, the mojito has hit her. Then she starts talking to her aunt and she starts getting emotional. Her aunt asks her about their plans. Are they going to get a house? And she's like, we have to see, what we have, what we can get with the money that we have, because I don't want to be in the same situation like I was in the U.S. that I would have to work like three jobs to make ends meet and blah blah blah. And because the mojito hit, she gets emotional, okay, and she starts to cry. And her parents are like, you could be a big success here. You're such a hard worker. And she's like really emotional. She's like, stop, and let me tell you, okay, it was like Ben took his cue to start getting fussy. And Anthony knows, okay, when Manon starts getting emotional and teary eyed and the baby's fussy, it's time to go. Au revoir, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you for everything. Manon, she's like, do you mind if I stay? He's like, no, not at all, honey. And he leaves, and she's sitting there with her glass of wine. That mojito hit her. Okay? Nothing wrong with it. All of us have had a drink hit us from the left side, the right side, the upside down every once in a while. And between that and her emotions, she was, yeah. So anyway, Manon took to Instagram, and I would like to thank Isabella for sending this to me. She is actually commenting on a comment Isabella wrote on one of her posts. So she wrote, okay, Isabella wrote, from this clip, I feel that Manon's mom and the one aunt sitting next to her tend to be quite judgmental and harsh on her. Manon also over explains things, and this may be the reason why several family members are up in Manon's business. Good point, Isabella. I also understand why people over explain, as it does come from previous relationships that are either from fraternal, amorous, or all of the above, having to prove yourself for any type of trust and love. Although she wanted to stay behind with the family, I wish Anthony encouraged Manon a bit stronger to come home with him and Ben. They are calmer when it's just them, as we saw at the park and playground area. Alcohol and family drama doesn't mix. See? I told you guys, the alcohol, blame it on the alcohol. And she's too pretty in her beautiful white outfit for all that drama. Yes, that I agree. So Manon replies to Isabella, my family is indeed super judgmental and always was. They don't talk behind your back though. They will tell you everything straight to your face. I got that from them. They think is they see it's easy to provide in France, but they all, mom and aunt, have a husband who makes money. My mom actually never had to work until a few years ago because my dad had his own business. I'm just worried about making income in France. We don't get these clips and segments about money because I'm trying to protect my husband as I can, not to emasculate him, saying I need him to make money, so I count on myself for that, which is okay. I don't care. But I know for a fact that money is going to be an issue if we buy or if we rent. We don't have a lot to live off of, but I can't control anything I feel. I am just lost. So, like I said, you guys, the alcohol had a lot to do with it. And just dealing with judgy wudgy family members and all the emotions behind it. Yeah. So, I get it. Next week, Manon is going to try to have a conversation with her sister. I hope that goes okay. Moving on to Chloe and Johnny. Oy, oy, oy. As much as I like Johnny, he should have known when he decided to commit to a 23, what is she, 23, 24-year old. It wasn't exactly going to work. She's 23. It's not going to go smoothly. There's going to be a lot of issues, especially if you're a pirate that has a lot of women in G-string bikinis around you as a job requirement. So they are going out to drinks, okay? And she even says that her and Johnny don't go out the same. Johnny doesn't drink, and she likes to run herself up a bar tab. So they're even incompatible in the way they hang out. Okay. So her friend is gonna meet up with them. His friend Caden's gonna meet up with them. She's like, oh great, joy to the world. And he's like, I really wish you and Caden would get along. And the reason why she doesn't like Caden, because she feels like that Caden's like his wingman. When Johnny was Johnny the single pirate, Caden works with him also, that I mentioned. So him and Caden would finish work and go out with the drunk tourist girls in their little G-string bikinis. Wait, isn't that the way he met Chloe? Anyway, so they get to the place where they're gonna meet Caden and stuff, and he Chloe's like, oh, you wanna know what I did today? I spied on you. And Johnny's like, really? Chloe, I thought you trust me. And she's like, well, we stopped sharing locations, so I decided to spy on you to make myself feel better. And Johnny's just like, oh my goodness. So her friend gets there in the nick of time. And Johnny's like, so I heard you guys spied on me today. Like, would you spy on your boyfriend? And Chloe's like, she does spy on her boyfriend, by the way. Okay, like I say, birds of a feather flock together. These two are slightly psycho about their men. Well, fuck slightly. They're psychotic about their men. And, you know, uh, Chloe wants to climb a tree. Her friend will climb the tree with her. And I'm sure Chloe will return the favor. So, and they say it's the men that make them crazy. Okay. So Johnny's friend Caden gets there, and Caden and Chloe just do not like each other. Okay, Caden, he admits that he has a hard personality, so he tries to scale it down with Chloe, but Chloe's an asshole. Chloe's an asshole. And yes, the way she was talking to him and coming at him, yes, she was kind of an asshole. She's like, oh, I got to stand on business and blah. I'm like, girl, take it down a couple of notches. This, another scene brought to you by the letter A for alcohol. Okay. As the scene was going on and on, you could tell Chloe was racking up that bar bill. Okay, so she was getting increasingly aggressive with Caden. And Caden's like, you know, Johnny is also taking a big risk by having you move in with him. He doesn't need anybody to live with him. He's, perfectly fine the way he is. And Chloe's like, I left a six-figure income and a stable home to come down here and be employed and be unemployed and blah, blah, blah. I just want to say, okay, as the scene went on and on, at one point, she was talking to Caden. Okay. I just want to blow this up for a minute, you guys. Talking to Caden very aggressively about Johnny with her arms slung around him and talking about him like he's not there. Okay. I was just like, girl, I could just imagine what your bar bill is. Okay. You need to take it down a notch. So Johnny is like, I need you to be able to trust me, Chloe. Okay. We're not going to be able to have a relationship without trust. And she's like, you need to be able to respect me. I don't want you going out with bitches after work. Okay. I don't want you going out, period. I'm your girlfriend. You need to respect me. And Johnny is just like, yeah. Okay. So Chloe is going to be cut off by her mom next week. So we're going to see how that turns out. And this is my Johnny appreciation post for this recap. So moving on, we have Greta and Matthew. This this segment was brought to you by the letter B for boring. So Greta and Matthew are looking at places because Matthew finally got it through his thick fucking head that his parents' house and his childhood bedroom are going to be way too small for him to live with his grown-up relationship, okay? He needs to move out of his twin bed. He finally realized this. So they're looking at houses. First, Greta was like, oh shit, I didn't expect it was going to be a full house. But it has a cute kitchen, a cute, bedroom, a cute living room, and it also has a second bedroom. And suddenly we're talking about Greta having twins. I'm like, how the fuck do we go from looking at a house to Greta having twins? But the second bedroom will be perfect for twins, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Greta doesn't understand why Matthew would want all this space, okay? She pictured in her little romantic mind that they would live in a flat somewhere, and they would cook their vegan meals in the kitchen, and I don't know, raise some fucking chickens. I have no idea. But she has like this fantasy in her head, and this big 3-bedroom house doesn't fit in her fantasy. So she grumpapuss. She has been grumpapuss since she's basically landed. Matthew, I gotta say, I don't know how I feel about him just yet. There's some moments that I want to reach to the TV and slap the shit out of him. And then there's some moments I generally feel bad for him because I feel like Greta is just never satisfied. Okay. And no matter what he does, he wouldn't be able to satisfy her. But I don't know. She tells him that she doesn't feel like they're ready for a house. And he's just said, noted. Okay. So now Greta was in New York this past weekend, which makes me wonder if the tell all was filming. This particular picture is in Queens, Astoria, Queens. And as you can see, the New York skyline. So is it tell all filming time already? Possibly. We're already on episode 8, and they usually film the tell all halfway through the season as it's being aired on TV. So I don't know. Okay, finally, we have Patia and Dylan. Patia had just arrived last week, and now she is happy to pull up to the house that Dylan has renovated for them. Dylan had a couple investment properties, and he decided to take one of them and fix it all up nicey nice for him and Patia to live. So Patia's quite impressed. So now Dylan is making one of his meals for the day. Now, to say Dylan is very structured with his diet, exercise, lifestyle is an understatement. Dylan likes what he likes, okay, which includes 100 grams of kangaroo, which I did the conversion. It's a little less than a quarter pound of kangaroo meat, okay, with some rice and some green beans, I think he said. Okay, for this particular meal, he was making unseasoned salmon with asparagus. And I'm pretty sure that he doesn't cook his asparagus in butter or oil. Okay, when I say he is structured in his diet, he is structured. Okay, so Patia, on the other hand, she likes her food with some spice, okay, some seasoning. She likes her butter. And she wants to like pull him out of this lifestyle a little bit, like let loose, set free, let loose. But it's going to be really hard, Patia, okay, because once a man is in a routine, it's hard to pull him out of it. So now it's the next day. And guess what? Mom is calling and she's going to stop by. And Patia's like, what the heck? I don't want her to stop by. I look like this. And so mom comes by, brings Patia flowers and some Tasmanian biscuits. Okay. So Mama Joe, let's call her Mama Joe. Mama Joe says that she has nothing against Patia. Is Patia the one that has the problem? She is not fond of the relationship that she has with her son. And I agree with Mama Joe. It's honestly none of Patia's business. But on the other hand, Dylan is way too close to his mother, as we find out, because Dylan does confide in her about basically everything. So, um, Patia's talking about that she would put an L-shaped, sofa and a dining table here. And basically, Mama Joe is like, oh, Dylan, you're going to have to keep your eye on her with the spending, huh? So it's like, okay. So basically, Dylan told his mother about Patia's spending habits and how sometimes, because of her spending habits, she can't make her bills. So apparently, Mama Joe knows way too much about Patia. And like she says, it hasn't even been 24 hours. And she's like, rah. Well, she is a mama bear and she is going to be like, rah, especially if she thinks that Patia is a gold digger trying to take whatever money her son has. So, mom is leaving. Good to see you. Not. And then Patia's like, we really have to talk. You need to stop telling your mother everything. That was like really uncomfortable that she knew about my finances and stuff. And basically, she was having these problems as recently as 2 weeks ago. Okay, he was like, you keep saying that you're gonna change, and you just don't. 2 weeks ago, you were having a problem, making your bills, and then you went on the shopping spree. And she's like, no, I am a changed woman, I swear. And he's like, well, we need to see action. And he's like, she wants a ring, but I need to see action first that she really is a changed woman, and blah, 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 blah. So Patia knows what she has to do. Let's see if she could survive the simple life out in the country without shopping. And Dylan posted this on his Instagram. When you flirt with a flight attendant and find yourself in first class, okay? And by the way, you guys, before the 90 days is going to start soon, it was on a commercial that aired during 90 Day the other way. It was a commercial about TLC shows and it just flashed this. So once I have more information, the date, who's going to be on it, I will let you guys know. So that is basically it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching me. Please subscribe if you don't already. Please double check that you are subscribed. Like, comment, share with a friend or 10. Please consider joining my membership. And with the holidays right around the corner, check out my merchandise. Thank you so much. Have a good night.